long-term deal. I want to stay. I want to stay. And yet, nothing. Nothing.
So hopefully, man, this stuff recorded. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, technical difficulty, but it's okay. It was a good conversation regardless, though.
No worries. We got plenty of podcast topics.
Yeah.
We got plenty of weeks to do this shit. We'll figure it out. It's okay.
So
but no,
I see what it is. I didn't hit the button twice. You had to hit it twice. That's why I said this meeting is recording now. So we're recording now. But it's okay. But we'll figure it. I know it now. But you always gonna be on your iPad, or you gonna be on the laptop?
I'll probably be on my iPad because my laptop is weird and battery life is shit on that one. So I'm gonna be on.
Okay. So on your iPad, it wasn't a button that say record, or
it did have a button to say record, but it wasn't actually when I was pressing it. It wasn't recording shit.
So next time when you hit the button once, it's gonna say recorded to the cloud, and then you hit that button to say recorded to the cloud, and then it'll say this meeting is recorded. So next week, so that's what it was.
Okay.
When I hit the button to say recorded to the cloud, I thought it was recording. But you heard that lady say this is recording. That's the only time it recorded. It just was running.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
So, but now that we know,
it's all running.
It's a learning process, man.
Listen, we don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is, we got to flow. So this is going to be great because you know sports, I know sports. Yes. We can talk about anything.
We can.
And then next week when VO gets on here, we'll let him talk about his 49ers, the crazy situation, the offseason, Debo wanting to be traded. But I'll say this. I never thought Debo was that great, me personally.
You don't think Debo is that? I mean, I'll say this. I like Debo, but I think he fits with the 49ers unless he's going to a team that's going to fully utilize his potential. Like I don't think he's a straight up receiver. I don't think he's a straight up running back. I think he's a guy that you see his skill set and you have to utilize his full skill set. I think Shanahan did a good job of accentuating that. I don't know if he goes, let's say Miami, maybe they might, or I don't know, the Jets. I don't think the Jets know what they're doing. They'll probably use him wrong, have him as a tight end or some shit. I don't know.
I thought he was a gadget player, an H-back, not a receiver. I always told everybody Ayuk was the better receiver, better route runner from day one. And everybody yelled at me, screamed, yelled, or whatever. But the facts of the matter is, as you see, why was Ayuk always getting the catches? Because he was always open. Because he know how to run routes. He was
always open.
Debo is nothing but a gadget player that thinks and plays too hard. That's why he always hurt.
Listen,
always trying to run somebody over, always trying to do this and do that, catch the ball and go down. That's what receivers do.
I'll say this: you saw what happened with Tyreek Hill going to Miami, right? The grass ain't always greener now. So you want to get traded, okay? But just because you go to another team, don't mean that they're going to utilize you well. Doesn't mean the team's success is going to be good. It's going to be a shit show nightmare.
But at least Tyreek is still getting catches though.
Reek only had 1,000 yards this year, though. He only had he had a little over 100, but I don't think he only caught like for 920 some yards. He didn't have 1,000 this year.
I mean, because you got Tua that can't stay on the field. You know what I'm saying?
There's that. I mean, Tua that definitely played a part. I'm not disagreeing with you there.
And he's not having the kind of playoff success he had with Kansas City.
That's why he should have stayed. I understand. Listen, I'm not going to begrudge him for taking the money. I get it. Hey, get your money, but you're now in a situation where you're with lesser than, so you're gonna have to build that shit up. You can't.
Jeremy said he want to be out, but you want to be out now. He's like 31, right?
Yeah, he's old. I'm not trading for Tyreek.
Miami,
Tyreek. You want Tyreek on your team? No, you don't want Tyreek. Okay, so Tyreek, you don't want. You wanted everybody else.
I never said I wanted anybody. I just said they were available.
Now we're figuring out the recording. So he wanted he heard through the grapevine that Myles Garrett might be traded to Philly, so he would be open to that.
He said that he wouldn't. Myles Garrett said he wouldn't mind playing for Philly. He wouldn't mind playing for Commandos. That's what Myles Garrett said.
Now and then we also talked about Trayvon Walker from the Jaguars, who might be a free agent and they may not sign him. And
I said he's on his 5th year and he's a possible guy that can get signed or traded. And I said he can go to Tennessee. That's what I said. I never said he was coming to Philly.
You said that you'd be open to get. Don't do that. You said you would be open to getting.
Wouldn't be open? But that's like, who wouldn't be open to getting these guys? Why not? It's gonna help your franchise.
Well, if they're a bust and they ain't good, then no. But Tyreek Hill's good. You don't want Tyreek.
We don't need a receiver. We got Devontae Smith and we got AJ Brown. We don't need that.
You need a slot guy. Tyreek can be in the slot. There
No,
you
we
go.
got
See, I just saw
Jahan Dotson. We
Jahan.
good.
You'd want
Tyreek don't want to play in the slot.
so you
Tyreek is selfish. He'll mess our chemistry up. No.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not disagreeing with you there.
I said we have a lot of free agents.
You do.
And if Howie gets on the phone with Cleveland and they're willing to trade Myles Garrett to us, who wouldn't take that?
No, of course. I'm not saying you wouldn't. I wouldn't say you'd hang up the phone. Obviously, if that happened, you would take it.
And with Walker, Jacksonville is a terrible franchise. They don't know what they're doing. So if they want to toss Javon Walker to us, why wouldn't we accept? Just like he tossed him to Tennessee.
And to your point, I'll kind of agree with you here because most mock drafts have them taking Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, anyway.
See,
so if like realistically, I mean, where are you going to put Walker anyway? Is he going to play alongside him? Because I think with Jacksonville, the problem with Walker is that I don't know what position he's even playing. Because some days I see him on the edge, some days I see him in the middle. I don't know if he's good at, like, they haven't really figured out what position he's really good at either side. Because they thought, we could just use him everywhere. Okay, but he has to be good at least one of them. And then kind of build off that. And I don't think, even in college, he just flashed.
Yeah, and I'm just going back to what you said. Coaching matters, right?
Coaching matters.
When Philly had those new offensive coordinators the year before, they fell apart.
Yeah.
You give Vic Fangio a proven guy, and you see what that defense looked like after week 4.
Yeah, and I said earlier, an hour ago, that if you were to get Walker in that system, in that team, I think it would be good. But I also think it wouldn't be fair because now you got 3 Georgia guys, top first round picks.
Well, actually, it'll be 4 Georgia guys on that line.
Oh yeah, it'd be 4 because then you have Nolan Smith. So you have 4 Georgia guys. So you'd have Walker on the edge possibly, and then you could have the other 3, which you don't need. But again, you don't need them anyway, so it's fine.
And you got a guy at linebacker. So all we did was say they won a national championship. They're good defense. Let's grab all of them.
Which I'm just confused why other teams didn't say, hey, let's maybe get Jordan Davis. I love Jordan Davis coming out of college. Like, I loved his game.
And he fell. He fell to 6.
Because I remember me and our mutual friend Austin, I remember me and I had a conversation. He was like, oh, well, Jordan Davis doesn't rush the passer. I'm like, listen, you get him in the right scheme. To your point, coaching matters. I will teach him to rush the passer. In the meantime, he is big and he is fast. I want him stuffing the run. That's it. We will work on the pass stuff.
And he got some sacks this year. They said he's motivated. Then Jalen Carter fell to number 9.
Yeah. I mean, I love Jalen Carter too. I loved him coming out of Georgia too. Like, he's just big as shit, man. And I mean, I think, I'm going to ask you a question now. So obviously this is in the future. So who are you signing long-term? Because you might have to only pick one between Jordan, Jalen, I'm right, between Carter and Davis. Who you taking?
Carter, of course.
Yeah.
He's a game wrecker.
I agree.
He's a game wrecker, so you got to take him.
You got to take Carter.
We don't have to really make that decision for a couple of years now, though, right?
Yeah, you're lucky. That's the benefit of winning the Super Bowl with everyone on rookie deals.
Right.
Is that
we're just really young. We got 2 star corners. He can return. Cooper DeJean return the punts. Like, it's just amazing. And they're saying that at 32 we're either going to get an offensive lineman or the safety from South Carolina, the 6'3", 235 pounds.
Yeah, I've seen him. He's big. He's a big dude. But y'all don't need a safety though. Y'all already have.
They said it depends on the contracts in the back end.
Listen,
because Blankenship is a free agent,
right?
And so that kind of piece in the back end at number 32, man.
Listen, I think when the team win the Super Bowl, they don't need to draft anybody. They should just be avoiding their draft for that year. Guys don't need anybody. You guys are fine.
Come on, man.
Give all the draft picks to the team, like my team, Tennessee Titans, as the first overall pick, which sucks ass. We need all the picks.
I mean, like I said earlier, if you get Will Levis, stop being on the mayonnaise commercial, doing splits, being dreamy, and getting that playbook, you guys will be good. But you guys need to trade the pick, draft Travis Hunter, get a veteran quarterback like Will Levis sit behind him. In the division you win is not that tough.
It's not. It is winnable.
And you saw what Washington did from that terrible franchise that was there and drafted Jaden Daniels and went to the NFC Championship in 1 year.
They did.
It can happen.
It can. I don't disagree with you there. I mean, again, like we talked earlier, I think for me, if we trade I'm all for trading the pick if it makes sense. I think at this point we need picks, we need talent. I think we need to infuse this roster with as much talented players as we can. And because as much as I love Cam Ward, I mean, I just don't trust this coaching staff to do shit. So I think, yeah, if we trade the pick, I'd be fine with that. So yeah, I think we just, but again, we're like, no, that's what happened. So we might even do a draft podcast where we do an analysis and we talk about our picks. I mean, obviously I'm going to be Tennessee's the star of this draft, obviously, because we are going to be moving the needle on who goes whatever. So we'll see what happens.
I'm going to be on the back end, the last pick of the draft, and I'm just going to have analysis for the people that might get to us. See, these guys, you'll have a lot of things to talk about a trade, these picks, that picks. VO will be discussing, how the window is closing a little bit, how they got to pay Brock Purdy, losing Debo. They saying they're going to let Javon Hargrove walk. It's just like window is closing, and you got to have some restructuring over there in order to get Brock Purdy paid.
Well, they do, because Brock Purdy's probably going to command at least 60, no?
You got the left tackle who's on his last leg. Yeah, Trent Williams. So you got Trent Williams, the tackle that's, it's funny how they got old real quickly, right? All the hype in that window, don't put your hands underneath that window.
Listen, I mean, here's the difference. I mean, the Niners and the Eagles were similar. The one difference, like in 2019, the Niners had a young defensive line. Bosa was on his rookie deal. They had Buckner, they had Armstead, they had Thomas, they had a bunch of young guys, but they didn't go through that window. They didn't win the Super Bowl, and that's what happens now, because now all those guys. I mean, I think Buckner got traded, Armstead went to Jacksonville, Bosa's there, he's getting paid, but he didn't really do much this year, because you basically put all your eggs in his basket essentially. And I mean, he's good, but it's tough when, teams are now saying, okay, we're going to stop Bosa. We don't got to worry about these other guys in the middle. We're going to slide protection against Bosa, right? And then the defense took it. Now, Robert Saleh's back at least with the Niners, so hopefully he can maybe get that defense running. But to your point, I mean, it's tough because now they got old really quick. You're going to have to play Purdy because, I mean, I don't know how you're not going to pay him. I don't know. There's no real.
How much you think they're going to pay him? Not top?
I mean, they can't give him Dak money.
Dak stuff was ridiculous.
Dak ain't won nothing. You give him $60 million a year. I think.
How did Dak get $60 million?
I have no clue how Dak got $60 million. That's like the great mystery of the NFL, how he got $60 million a year for doing absolutely fucking nothing. Excuse my French.
He's done. What, he got two playoff victories?
Yes. I mean, Brock got more than that. So shit, I would say if I'm Brock's agent, I'm starting at 60 and then we'll work our way down because I have a better resume as Brock Purdy than Dak.
I think he'll get 40. I think he'll get 40.
Yeah, I think 40 is probably the low end is probably the lowest is probably 40. I think, you know what, I'll say probably maybe 40, 45. I'm going to say 45. I'll say he'd probably get about 45 at the most.
Well, he was wasn't he the last pick of the draft?
He was.
So coming from the last pick and getting 40 million, I mean, I don't think he's going
to negotiate. I mean, hey, listen, it's still good money.
I don't think he's going to negotiate, but so much. You're in San Francisco. You could never go nowhere else. Nobody's going to pay you that money. Try to go out there and seek if somebody's going to pay you.
Because I don't disagree. I think Brock Purdy is a great quarterback, but he's a good quarterback because he's in San Francisco with that system and the players. Yeah,
system quarterback. System quarterback.
Yeah. I don't think if he goes to, I don't know, let's say New Orleans, that they're winning a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy.
I think the window is closed though because teams are getting better in their division, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be dominant because you saw what they was this year. Injuries.
Yeah, I mean Arizona took a step. Obviously, the Rams made the playoffs.
But I don't trust the Arizona coach though because he was our defensive coordinator and couldn't get a stop.
Listen, he just got to. I mean, he couldn't get
a stop in the Super Bowl. He couldn't get a stop in the Super Bowl in the second half.
You got Marvin Harrison Jr.
Who
I don't know about everybody else, but you got Marvin Harrison Jr.
But they didn't use him right though.
No,
sometimes you didn't know he was on the field.
They didn't use him right. No, they didn't. They didn't. And that's an indictment on them because you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's a stud. What are you doing?
And I think really, if you look at the division, the Rams is the best team in the division. If you look from the opposite side and deep side of the ball, and you would think,
yeah. No, I mean,
Seattle.
I would say if I had to rank them, I would say Rams, Seattle, Arizona, and the Niners right now. I mean, with the Niners, there's so much questions. I don't know. They're third at best. So, until they got to figure out what they're going to do with their roster.
So you put the 49ers at the bottom? I'm not going to put them at the bottom.
You put Arizona last?
I might put Seattle last.
You think Seattle's last?
But this is why.
Okay.
When you have old receivers, because they got old receivers, right?
Right.
They only have one. You got Geno, who is not a winner.
I forgot about Geno. I did, yeah.
Geno. Now, and the coach was new coach. He looked like he was out of his element.
Yeah, Mike Macdonald was. I mean,
he was out of his element.
Yeah.
And then with Arizona, see, it's I got both of them at 3. I can't put neither one of them at 4 because of this. Mm-hmm. I don't trust Arizona coach.
Fair.
I think Macdonald will have that defense playing a little bit better. And Arizona defense was okay.
They were okay.
But I just don't trust Arizona coach. And you have Kyler Murray, who's a kind of small and has tendencies to throw the ball away. Because a couple of games, I'm like, what are you doing, man? You lost those games by having those interceptions. Geno did the same thing. So I leave them both at 3, depending on what they do in the offseason. And if it was San Francisco, I'm only going to put them at the second position because they have great ownership in place. They make good decisions for the most part.
Mm-hmm. No, they have. I think their drafting has been really good. I think they've done a good job drafting, yeah.
But I think they're getting old at skill positions that we're going to really see if Shanahan can really coach. Because now McCaffrey has been hurt 2 years in a row.
He has.
Kittle gets hurt. Debo gets hurt. So now
Ayuk was hurt.
Ayuk got hurt. So now, where's that coaching? Because we didn't see all that creativeness without those players, right?
You couldn't.
So is it really the coach?
They couldn't be. They couldn't be creative.
Or is it the pieces that make the system work?
I think it's again, and then defensively, they're going to lose Ward. I think Ward's a free agent. So they're losing him. Hargrave, you said, is a free agent. From what I've heard,
they said they're going to cut Hargrave.
There you go. And then even who is it? Their linebacker. They're looking at maybe drafting a linebacker in the draft to play alongside Warren. So Greenlaw's gone. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, there's just a lot of questions with them until I think once I see what they do in the draft and the offseason, then I can move them up. But right now, with all the uncertainty, with the to your point with Geno is Geno. Geno is what he is. I don't think he's
forgot about Geno, right? You forgot.
I totally forgot. I totally forgot it. I was thinking about all the receivers and stuff. I totally forgot that the Geno Smith's your quarterback. I completely forgot about that.
I'm surprised that the Rams are right back at the top after they gave away all those draft picks.
Well, I don't know, because aren't they going to be looking to trade Matthew Stafford? Apparently, I know they're looking to trade Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, but they got Puka Nacua, and then they'll put somebody else. They ain't get another receiver.
Well, they need a quarterback. They got to have someone to throw. And listen, they have Stenson Bennett, who is there. Stenson Bennett is ass. No offense to Stenson Bennett and his family, but Stenson Bennett was terrible.
But the way they built up that defense was amazing.
Absolutely. But you got it. Listen, you got to have a quarterback, my friend. Are they going to go get Sam Darnold in free agency? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
they could. They just saying for Stafford, they told him to test the market to see what he could get.
I don't think. Who's going to trade for? Oh God, I don't. Jets maybe. I don't know.
And Stafford is not going to look good in every system.
No, I don't. I think. Listen, the 2 systems he was in is the best Stafford you're going to see. I don't think he goes to the Jets and all of a sudden he's 2021 Stafford. I don't see that. Because
they gave the Eagles the hardest game in the playoffs.
They did. Defensively, listen, their front 4 is legit. I like their front 4. Their back end isn't the greatest. I think they can upgrade that a little bit in the draft or free agency, but I do like their front 4. Their front 4 is legit.
I think because we went in their house and blew them out. I think the snow played a big part of that.
Of course it did.
Because we went into LA and Saquon ran for 200 yards. So the snow and Jalen Hurts not being 100% played a factor in that. I think if it was played again and the field was good, we'd have blew them out as well. Because the personnel that we have, they can't stop the run. I mean, you saw that. They can't. And Jalen wasn't 100% because you saw he was taking those sacks for no reason. And that's why. Because it's not going to change differently than we went into LA and did that. We went into Baltimore and beat them. So going into somebody home and beating them, opposed to beating them at home, is totally different.
See, you just feel good because you're an Eagles fan and your team won the Super Bowl.
So I just feel good because everybody talked bad about Jalen. Everybody always got something to say about him. I'm happy for Saquon, and I'm happy for Jalen.
My thing with Jalen is I just didn't feel like he was throwing the ball as well as he was 2 years ago.
Oh, in the Super Bowl? I mean,
in general, just throughout the season, I am the Super Bowl. Throughout the season, I felt like he wasn't throwing the ball as well as he was a few years ago. But
I don't think the game plan was for that though.
Bro, you might be right. Just as a person watching the football games, that's kind of what I saw. I just didn't feel like he was throwing but your team was set up. I mean, getting Saquon was just like that was just to put you all over the top because now it's like as a defense you can't. You have to pick your poison, basically, right? If you're going to sell it to stop the run, fine. But then if Jalen decides to go over your head and throw it, and he's got guys to do it, it's kind of tough unless your guys can hold up in the back end. And that's basically what happened in the Super Bowl. So there you go. And I think that's kind of where your team is built for success. And I hope teams follow that, where you're balancing out your team. You can't just be one-dimensional.
But you got to have a savvy GM to do that because they paid A.J. Brown early. They played Devontae Smith early. And that's what you do. You play them early. Unlike what Dallas does, they wait till the last minute. So now you're going to have to pay. You already paid Dak 60. If you'd have paid him early, you wouldn't have to pay him 60.
Well, they got to pay Micah, no?
Now you got to pay Micah. They played the corner last year, and then they played CD. They went to the last minute to play CD.
CD got paid. Thing got paid. Yeah. So now, I mean.
So if they play CD early,
who knows? Maybe y'all go get Micah. Maybe the Eagles will get Micah.
He said he always talking about Philly. He must like Philly. I don't know.
Well, he played for Penn State, so there you go. So now you see just go get all the good defensive players. Get Myles Garrett.
Get Penn State and Georgia players.
There you go. Just get Penn State, Georgia players. Y'all are good to go. Just go. There you go. So you can just.
But have to your point about waiting till the last minute. Why does Dallas do? Dallas had to pay CeeDee Lamb more money than they had to. If they'd have paid CeeDee Lamb early, they wouldn't have to pay it. Like when you look at Cincinnati, they're gonna have to pay him $40 million.
Their situation sucks. I feel bad because you got to. I mean, the reality is, to your point, they have to play Chase. Chase is your guy. You got to give him the money.
Chase $40 million
at least, and then you got. I mean, and T. Higgins ain't gonna get that. That's why I'm saying T. Higgins might as well go to the Commanders because they got the most cap space.
T. Higgins. Do you think T. Higgins is that good?
I love T. Higgins. Is he a number one receiver? I don't know. But if he goes to the Commanders, I don't know if you pay him it's tough. I love T. Higgins. I just don't know money-wise how much I'd pay him.
I mean, if you look at him, right, he's been hurt a lot in Cincinnati.
He has. But, I mean, listen, when he's on, I watched the last game when they played against the Broncos. When they played in that game, he balled his ass off, and he's 6'5", can run, he can make all the catch. Like I love his game, but it's just tough. Like I don't know, because to your point, if you're paying him like a number one, right? You're because that's what he's probably looking for. He's not looking for number two money. He wants number one money, which the Bengals are not going to pay him because they would have already given him that. So where's his market? Where is he?
That's what I'm saying. Like with him, because he's a free agent at the right time.
Yeah,
he don't even have to dictate the market. The market dictates itself.
True. I mean, like I said, if I'm the Commanders, I'm already like once the new league year hits, I'm like T. Higgins.
So you pay him more money than you paying McLaurin, and McLaurin is the number one.
You're probably gonna have to if you're gonna get him. I don't think he's taking no discount. If that's what I don't think he's gonna take less.
But that's why
he's the number one. I don't disagree with you, but I mean,
but that's why they were talking about Ayuk because him and Jaden Daniels playing together at Arizona State.
That is true. Ayuk? And oh wow, if Ayuk leaves in the Niners, then oof.
But they paid IU, so he's not going anywhere. But
Yeah, but that would
have been a perfect fit. You
but
put
I
IU
also
on
think
the
with
other
T. Higgins,
side.
because the reason why I like T. Higgins is because he's tall and he can run. I think you can make those throws and he can go out and make the contested catches. He can, you have to be precise and perfect with him, right? You can just throw him,
True.
you know what I mean? So that's why I like him. It would just depend. I mean, I think the money is the sticking point, right? Like how much do you give T. Higgins is the question.
I can say I like him in Buffalo with Josh Allen because Josh Allen throws it up.
Buffalo would be nice.
Because you got to think,
because Amari Cooper's probably a free agent, I'm assuming.
I think they were talking about re-signing him, but if you because Josh Allen is not extremely accurate, right?
No, not the most accurate.
And T. Higgins is the kind of guy that you can throw it up and he'll go get it. So putting him over there with that, and people really slept on Cook. Like
James. I mean, well, you got to pay James Cook now because James Cook want to get paid now.
But see, running backs, and I think so. So all these running backs need to thank Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley.
My former Tennessee Titan, yes.
Yeah, for getting them the bag. They have to.
Yeah, because I mean, don't even get me started with Tennessee about Derrick Henry because that's just going to irritate me even more. Because but no, to your point, they reset the market, and I think it's going to be good. Like James Cook's going to get because James Cook balled out, and the James Cook this year, I did not expect that at all. Like I thought he was just a gadget guy, like a guy come in, whatever, spell the running back, and just but he ended up being legit, and I give him his flowers for that for sure. So no, I definitely think he should get paid.
And think about Dallas, man. This is why they're a bad franchise.
Go ahead.
Derrick Henry has a house, and he thought Jerry Jones was going to call him, and he was going to be playing for the Cowboys. They did no calls. That's why they make the decisions they make. They wait till the last minute to pay people, overpay Zeke, and then brought him back, paying Dak $60 million. How can you win with a $60 million quarterback? You can't.
Well, listen, I think they're going to try draft Jeanty, Ashton Jeanty from Boise State in the draft. I think that's going to probably be their pick at running back. I'd be shocked if he was sitting there, they didn't take him. Because who else are you taking?
but then you still don't have no other receiver.
And then I think Zach Martin is retiring or retired.
He retired. Yeah,
so that offensive line that Zeke was running behind is not. I think all those guys are gone. Yeah, so you have a whole new O line that's not
like
the same.
Who on the pod was a Cowboys fan? I can't remember.
Who?
I said when we was on our actual who was a
Cowboys
fan?
A few. Who is it? Pablo.
Oh, I didn't hear too much Cowboy talk though when we was on there.
Oh no, he was. Oh no, he would. You just weren't on there when I was on there with this. When Dak was balling out, or when Micah was balling out, or when the Cowboys were winning games, he talked his shit. And then when the playoffs hit, then he didn't say anything.
But see, that's not a real fan though. You're supposed to say something regardless. You can defend yourself when you're not playing good. Just be a real fan.
Yeah. But a lot of there were some Cowboy fans that would trickle in. They just didn't trickle often. They just weren't on there often. That's all. They'd only come on. We didn't
talk too much Cowboy talk though. We have too much Cowboy talk.
Not too much. It was mostly just Golden State. It was mostly Golden State or the odd Laker talk, but it was mostly just fucking Golden State. That's all it was.
And then when the sports lady came on and we had a conversation, that was real football talk because we always talked about each team and she gave us insight. So
yeah.
And then when we got on, we talked sports. We talked about the teams, and none of us was Cowboys fans, so we didn't talk about that stuff.
No, they only came up if, let's say, a Cowboy fan randomly popped up in our chat.
Right, popped in. Yeah.
So for context, for people listening, me and Smooth met on Halftime, this chat app, sports app, like many moons ago, and it was basically like a chat room that you can kind of go on and just create a chat room and then just chop it up and talk about sports or whatever the hell you want to talk about. So that's how I met Smooth. That's how I met our other friend Bio, who is Miss MIA today.
MIA.
He'll hopefully be. He didn't even respond to my text, but that's neither here nor there. Hopefully next week he'll be on. We'll figure out something, but we'll try to do these on Sundays and stuff. But yeah, no, I think with a lot of the sports fans, again, some of them are kind of fair weather fans. Some of them will only talk if like their team is winning, then they'll talk their shit. Like when my team, because again, when I was on there with the first year, Tennessee was the first seed in the AFC. we were kicking ass. We had Derrick Henry, we had AJ Brown, Tannehill was there, unfortunately, but he was not the problem.
I was waiting for you to say Tannehill.
Unfortunately, I can't at that time not mention that jackass's name. Tannehill just irritated me in that playoff game against the Bengals. I'll never get over that game where we had 9 sacks, bro. 9 sacks. 9.
Yeah. But you had some good times. But you had some good times with Steve McNair.
No. That was even further back. Okay. I'm talking about slightly recent times when we were the number one, bro. We were the number 1 seed in the AFC. I was talking my shit. I remember, I'll tell the story right now because we're going to probably tell it next week. So that year we played the Niners. The Tennessee Titans played the Niners. Dio was talking hella shit to me. Like the Tuesday before the game, he's like, yo, how y'all going to block Bosa, da. Talking all this shit. I said,
and that's what Dio does. You see the difference between me and Big Mike?
Because he was talking his shit and then he signed it. So then they played on Thursday night. I remember this very vividly. So the first half, Niners kicking every part of our ass. Couldn't do anything. Second half, AJ Brown goes off. Just goes off. They can't stop him. We end up winning the game. I'm on halftime trying to get Vo on. Vo disappears. Can't find Vo for like damn near 5 days. Been trying to get him to sign on. Will not sign on. I remember it was me, Pablo, or me, P, and then I think it was Jake or someone, or Austin had signed on that night with me. And I was trying to get Vo to sign in. Vo just did not want to talk. Disappeared. That was how good that season was for me, man. And that season is dead now. Now we're the first overall pick.
I mean, transition happens though, man. I mean, everybody can't be successful every year. So you had, recent success. I mean, Vo can't talk to you about no Super Bowl recently, so it's all good.
No, he can't.
So he can say anything about the 49ers, this, and that. You got to the Super Bowl, you didn't win. You let Patrick Mahomes, y'all was up 10 and y'all didn't win.
Listen, okay, so, well, that's fair. And at least listen, not all your teams are doing good because your Florida State Seminoles had an off year. I mean,
it's them signing a crazy coach.
You know what? Actually, I wanted to ask you, because I know this is going far back, but I wanted to get your take. What was your thoughts on? Did you feel they should have gotten to the playoff the year that they were undefeated in 2023?
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of ironic that they changed how many teams get in after that, though, right?
Listen, Ohio State. Listen, Ryan Day would have gotten fired this year if they had the 14 playoff because they lost to Michigan. We were 8-5. He would be unemployed. He'd be coaching the Chicago Bears right now.
I mean, you can't base it on a player getting hurt whether they get into the playoff. It's supposed to be on statistics. And the record. Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah, I hated. I totally 100% agree with you. I hated the narrative that the media was spinning about. Oh, well, the one player got hurt, so they're not the same team. I don't care about that. They won, and even still, you guys weren't watching the games. I remember when y'all played Pittsburgh and Jordan Travis played, and y'all struggled, but y'all still won because y'all defense was elite and y'all made the right. Like, I just hated it. It set a bad precedent. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, and the problem I had with it is you saw how this 12-team playoffs was this year, right?
It was boring.
Blowouts. It wasn't competitive. So what was the point?
As soon as Ohio State beat Oregon, I knew they were going to win. I didn't even watch anymore. I was like, oh yeah, they're winning this because Penn State is not beating Ohio State because they can't beat Ohio State.
They can't score.
They can't score. Texas, fraudulent. They're frauds, complete frauds. Correct. And then you had Notre Dame, even
can't
more
score either.
So
I knew they were going to win as well.
I was like, oh yeah, Ohio State's winning this. They're going to win easily. All they got to do, and plus because teams for some reason think it's okay to play press man or man coverage against Jeremiah Smith, which I don't understand why. He's too big. Like, even for context, the Michigan game we played this year, the one touchdown Ohio State had with Jeremiah Smith, Michigan tried to play press man. He threw the guy and then ran to the end zone. And that's how they scored. The rest of the game, if you watch, they're playing zone. They're basically doubling him.
That's
what you do. Why are you playing Oregon? Why are you playing press man?
Because he's a freshman. Usually freshmen don't do that.
No, listen, he's 6'3". He is an NFL receiver right now.
I agree. But how often do you scheme for rookie wide receivers in college? You
Listen,
don't.
I agree with you, but listen, I watched his tape in high school, and then I watched him throughout the season. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm saying, listen, unless I got a cornerback who's the same size and as strong as he is, we're not playing press man. We're going to play zone. We might play some man here and there, but we're playing zone. We're going to double his ass, and that's it. We're not doing this press man shit.
I agree 100%. But it's hard for a defense to say, hey, we're going to get out of what we do. We're going to change up this game just for this one player. In college defensive coordinators are not that exotic, not that skilled to understand, hey, not most majority aren't.
Like the only one I would say is exotic is our Michigan's defense coordinator.
Yeah, you have a coach that was under Jim Harbaugh. That's exotic, and he learned. So now you guys come with all of that, and you're not.
But I agree. Yeah, to your point, most defensive teams they're going to play if they play press man, they're playing press man regardless.
And Michigan is not a team that lets one person beat them. So that's the difference. Oregon, that's that other type of football where they think they had the best quarterback in the world. It didn't win the Heisman, and they thought they just was better.
Dude, I didn't even watch. I saw the highlights of them literally. I think there was one touchdown where they literally had a linebacker covering the slot receiver in the slot. Like, why are you like, bro? What are you doing?
See, they was the number 1 seed, and they thought they had it won.
Yeah,
and when they came out,
Ohio State earlier in the year, and to your point,
right?
Thought, we just could. No, bro, you won by 1 point. Y'all didn't blow them out. Y'all act like you won by 1 point. That was only because Will Howard, I think, slid when he shouldn't have slid, and the time ran out. You didn't win, just bro. Like, what do you listen? Going forward, I hope defenses this year in college football watch film of Jeremiah Smith and say, you know what, we're playing zone coverage. Like, I'll give you a reason why. When Marvin Harrison's last year at Ohio State, when they played Michigan in the Big House, he even said, Michigan threw coverages at me defense. I'd never even seen the coverages they were throwing at me. They were doing different stuff in the back end that I'd never seen before. And he still had 100 yards receiving on us.
Right.
It wasn't like we stopped him completely. And that even with Jeremiah Smith's good enough to get his. You're not going to completely stop Jeremiah Smith. He's big and strong as shit. Whenever he goes, I think 2 years he's going to be draft eligible. Hey, I hope Tennessee sucks enough to get him.
But y'all already don't have Travis Hunter. I ain't gonna need him.
We still will listen. We need talent. We're not Travis in the situation Hunter, y'all are in. Travis Hunter is great.
Travis Hunter
and Jeremiah Smith, Super Bowl champions. Let's go in 2029 or 30. I'm calling it now. Calling it now.
Okay.
Because
we're gonna be the quarterback.
Shit.
You forgot about that part, right?
You know what? Arch Manning.
Y'all won't win there. Mannings aren't winners, man. Stop it.
What? Okay, we got it. What?
Ho. Peyton Manning, right?
Okay.
Regular season winner, right?
Yeah.
They gave him one against Chicago. The worst team ever. One of the worst teams ever in the Super Bowl. Be honest about that.
No, was that quarterback? Devin Hester was the only reason why I watched the Bears that year. Yes,
and it was Rex Grossman as the quarterback.
Yeah, Rex Grossman was awful. I don't disagree.
That's the only reason he won that one. The only reason.
Okay.
The second one,
the Panthers
won when he was with Denver. They won despite of him. He was horrible that year.
He was horrible in the Super Bowl. The defense carried them to the Super Bowl. I won't disagree with you there.
Okay, so that's one.
Okay.
Let me go to Eli, right?
Sure.
I'll give Eli his props. In the playoffs, he was great. Regular season, not so great.
Not so great.
So juggle it around. Which one you gonna get with Archie? They can't even start for Texas.
Okay. But I think that they were loyal to Quinn Ewers. But I actually had a conversation with someone when I was watching the Super Bowl a few weeks ago about Arch. I believe that next year, because I think he's draft eligible next year, I believe.
And this is last year, so
this is last year more than likely because I believe unless he just is has more interceptions than touchdowns, he's probably going to be the first overall pick in the draft.
1 year?
I think so.
But you know how the Zach Wilson came out of nowhere,
Hey,
which was ridiculous, and all this other stuff.
I'll even concede an argument. You know the narrative. It's a Manning. Look at the
I agree.
history, and
I
they're
agree.
gonna. And I think if they're gonna play off that, like I like Arch. I agree. He hasn't done shit to warrant being first of anything. He has to really ball this year, and I want to see how he does this year. But I still think because of his last name and all that, I think, and then the quarterback class, I'm not sure what's coming out. I think he'll probably be the first overall pick, and I think teams will probably tank to get him. We'll see how good he is this year. If he's
I'll revert that statement. Right, I'm not gonna say the Mannings aren't winners. They're not winners like they perceive to be winners, because they talk about them like they talk about them like they win all the time. And if you look at Peyton Manning, he didn't even win in Tennessee.
He did not.
T. Martin came the next year and won the championship.
That is correct. I remember. I watched.
Facts.
Listen, that was my team, Michigan Wolverines. We won the national championship that year, so I remember that very vividly.
Yeah, T. Martin came and won that championship. So
when
you really want to talk about things, we're talking context, though, right?
Yeah, context matters, of course.
Yeah, and literally, I said this before. If you put Brady on that Indianapolis team, he wins championships with all that talent.
Consistently, you're saying like consistently, right?
Consistently.
If
you put Peyton in New England, you put Peyton in New England, they don't win.
I mean, to your point, I remember watching highlights like last year of like the 2003, 2004 Indianapolis Colts when they had Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Brandon Stokely, Dallas Clark, and listen, Peyton was
Edgerrin James in the backfield. Edgerrin James.
He was orchestrating the shit out of that offense. I will not disagree. Yeah. So that team should have probably won more given just the offensive talent that they had. I can't argue against that. I watched them and they look good. But to your point, if they had like someone, let's say like Tom Brady in that orchestrating it, when Tom Brady was at his peak, yeah, they probably could have won more. I don't disagree with that.
Because you saw when they gave Randy Moss 50-something touchdowns.
Yeah. So I mean, the Raiders, I don't know that was like the worst fucking trade, bro. That was an awful fucking trade. What did they get? I can't remember what they even got for him. Like, what did they trade?
The Tuck rule ruined them, man. It ruined them.
Oh yeah, we had one Raider fan in halftime though. I don't remember. I can't remember his name now. H-Town. He was a Raider fan, unfortunately.
And we had remember that wild Detroit fan we had. He would come on and talk crazy. He probably was excited.
We have him on here. It's gonna be just Dio and him arguing, and me and you ain't gonna get a word in because if they talk about the Bulls and the Pistons or I don't know any other team, it's gonna get it. They're gonna take it over. And
this probably was one of his best years, though, right? Like,
he could talk. Oh yeah, I mean the Lions made the Lions obviously. The Detroit Tigers somehow, I don't know how the hell they made the playoffs. They made the playoffs. The Red Wings are kind of shit, but 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah,
but he was great.
He was a true Lions fan, though.
That's
the most he talked about. He talked about the Lions through and through.
I mean,
for them, and you know what was crazy though? The Lions fans were talking crazy. We went in the Super Bowl. We doing this. We doing that. You let Jayden Daniels come in there and truck y'all like that?
I think that was probably the most surprising result, but then not surprising because it just showed how good Jayden Daniels really is.
And Detroit didn't have no defense.
They had no defense. That's why they got to go get Myles Garrett. That's why I said they need to go all.
No, they just was.
They need to be on the phone right now with Barry. Barry, what will it take to get Myles Garrett off your hands, friend?
But see, they don't have the connection like Eagles do with Barry.
It doesn't matter, bro.
Howard and Barry are friends.
Holmes is a great GM. I'll give Holmes his flowers. Holmes is a great GM. Holmes is like, listen, bro, we got 2 first-round picks. That's our starting point. What else more do you want? Because the Lions are right now, I think they need it, to your point. They need Aiden Hutchinson. You're not sure what you're getting with him. He's still coming back from his ACL. McNeil, their other D tackle, and the other guys, they're still kind of hurt, figuring their shit out. You need an edge guy. You got to have the edges. But now, Arnold, he hopefully next year he'll be better and not freaking get holding penalties every 3 plays. And like I said, they're right now in a position to win. They have a window. You got to go in. You got So that's why I say they're going to go get Myles Garrett. Y'all are not getting Myles Garrett.
But it's still a leaky faucet, right? Jared Goff, 4 interceptions. And then you still have Sam Darnold, the same thing in the playoffs, a dud. So you can go get Myles Garrett, but it's still going to come down to Jared Goff.
It is.
Who I watched when he was in the Rams, because I was at that Super Bowl when they played the Patriots. And as soon as he couldn't hear from his coach, they changed the defense and he looked confused.
No, you're not wrong.
And I saw him against the Ravens the year before. When he came to the Ravens thing, he looked lost. So you can get whatever defense you want over in Detroit. But if that signal caller going to cough that ball up, same result. And they lost the offensive coordinator. And what really confused me in that game, why are you trying to throw a pass with Jameson Williams? And that just destroyed the game plan. When he threw the interception. Like, what are you doing? You could be creative, but sometimes you just got to reel in and run the football and play basic football.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, they did lose both their coordinators. I think they promoted their linebacker coach to DC, which we'll see how that works. They hired some next offensive guy. I don't know who he is, never heard of him before, so we'll see how that goes for them. But again, I think with the Lions, they have a window. So because if you're the Lions, you have a chance to maybe. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but you're a good team. You're going to at least win your division. Finally, after many moons of mediocrity and 0-16 and all this, you are one of the top teams in the NFC. If you're
Matt McMillan, drafting the receiver 3 years in a row.
I mean, listen, Calvin Johnson was great, but then Mike Williams was. I don't know why they drafted Mike Williams. Then they drafted Roy Williams. Then they drafted Carlos Rogers. I was like, bro, why? Like, I liked all those receivers in college. I just didn't. None of them fit together. I tried playing with. I remember back when I was playing Madden. Like, I tried to play with Detroit, and I'm like, this isn't working because none of these guys can get separation. There's a bunch of big dudes, and it just wasn't working. It was a terrible experience trying to play with the Lions then. But again, the other reason I say they should trade the pick is because they're picking later in the draft. What are you going to get in terms of impact player later in the draft, right? Like, to me, if you want to go for it, go for it. This is your opportunity. I would say just go for it, go trade, get Myles Garrett, and then, hopefully Aiden comes back healthy, and then you can fortify your defense and figure it out, and then we'll see what happens. To your point, Jared Goff.
They show Hutchinson running. He looked crazy, man. Yes. It wasn't fluid at all.
No.
You saw that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I actually did see it a couple of days ago. I'm like, Hutchinson needs to chill. just chill. I know he wants to play. I know he's chomping. I watched that game when they played against Dallas and he broke up his leg and shit, but he needs to just make sure he's fully healthy, not try to prove no point or nothing like that.
And this year they were saying that was the best division of football with Detroit.
It was.
Minnesota, Green Bay, and Chicago.
Well, Chicago was ass, but the other 3 teams were great. I mean,
and they all got smashed in the playoffs. Yeah. Green Bay smashed.
Yeah.
Minnesota
smashed, and Detroit. Yeah, they all did. None of them won their games.
And then the 2 remaining people was from what division is that? Interesting.
This guy's out here, Smooth's out here trying to be slick. Like
no. What I'm saying is, if you look at our division, we're the only division with everybody in the division with 2 championships. The only division.
With 2 championships?
With at least 2 championships with every team. The only division out there.
And since when? Like this overall?
In general,
yeah. I mean, yeah, Washington has multiple, I believe.
Washington has 3. I think
Dallas
Giants got 3.
4? Yeah, Giants have
3 or 4, right?
Giants have 4.
Okay, and Cowboys got 6, right?
Yeah. So you're like, in fairness, y'all got to catch up because y'all behind. You only got 2 right now.
No, we don't got to catch up, man. Because
you got to catch up.
Know why we don't got to catch up? Because if we talking about recent, we're dominating. We can't look back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s.
Well, we just did because we're talking about how many teams have championships.
No. I'm just saying, if you look at all the divisions, when I was trying to make a translation, they said that was the best division. But if you look at what division has superior. Everybody in that division has at least 2 championships. What division is really the best if you go by that?
Oh, if you're going by that, I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, probably NFC. Oh, yeah, NFC East probably if we're going off of that. I mean, I mean, in terms of record, obviously the AFC North NFC North did have the best record. I mean, you had 3 teams had over 10 plus wins. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen this coming year, though. I think Minnesota's probably going to take a step back a little bit. I think Green Bay's still going to be good. I think Detroit's going to be good. The Bears, I don't know.
I think with Green Bay, that issue is they just got too many receivers. Who's the number one? And when you don't know who the number one is,
go get T. Higgins.
When you don't know who the number one, they was talking about getting Devontae Adams back.
Well, go get T. Higgins. Solve your damn problem right there. He's gonna make him a number one. Boom.
But they're not paying that receiver. They're not paying that receivers any kind of
money.
You're
welcome, Green Bay. I just solved your problem. Go sign T. Higgins. Now you got your number one.
They don't do, but Green Bay don't do that in free agency.
Well, shit. There's no one you're gonna draft. You're not drafting. They don't draft guys in the first round. So what are you gonna do?
Devontae Adams.
Sign him again for what?
Well, they was talking to Jordan Love. Yeah, they asked him about Devontae Adams. He was like, I saw him. He don't drop passes. I seen him drop like one pass.
I mean, so, I forgot Devontae, they're going to release him. So I guess, you might as well go back to Green Bay.
He'll come over there and be a number one, and it would help that younger group develop and understand how to be a consistent receiver.
And at least, if nothing else, I'll concede your point. They can win at least there. He can be competitive there. I don't know if he goes anywhere else. Because, the problem with the Jets suck, the Raiders suck. I don't think he wants to go to a team that sucks. So I think it would probably make sense for him to maybe have a reunion with Green Bay. Thinking about it now, it would probably make sense. Yeah.
Well, Green Bay, and I just think that, most recently, I was in one of those teams that never had a Super Bowl. So to be sitting here now and have 2 Super Bowls is just amazing. Because I have friends that always would talk to me, you don't have no Super Bowls. But if we really want to be realistic about it, before it was called the Super Bowl, it was called the championships. And we had 3 back then. But nobody talks about that. Before it was called the Super Bowl.
Because that was before you had helmets and CT and shit. Now you have all that now. Y'all were playing with helmets back then.
If we only talked about championships in general, we was never on the list because we had championships back then.
Okay, name a player from back then. If you want to, if we're gonna go back in the day, because you just said we're talking about name a player from back in the day. You gotta.
I will. I can name a player from back in the day, but that's irrelevant though, right?
No, it is relevant because it is relevant. It's absolutely relevant because you're sitting there talking about back in the day. You got to give me at least one player from back in the day that was somewhat relevant in your time.
And I will do this with Vio on here because I want Vio to hear it as well. So next week, I'm going to tell you the years and the players. I'm going to tell you. No, I'm not even going to tell you all the players. I'm going to tell you the quarterback and the receiver.
Yeah, tell me the significant players.
I am. And I want to say this in front of Vio because Vio is going to talk about his 49ers that did this and the Joe Montana years and stuff like that. So I'm going to have my facts. I'm going to have them.
Okay. I'm probably going to
That's going to be a great conversation, right?
Oh, it's going to be a lovely conversation. I just have Steve McNair and Eddie George years. That's really all I got.
The Music City
Miracle. I got that. Yeah. That's it. I got nothing else beyond that. And I got a 1 yard short. So I don't have much to contribute to this argument because I don't think Houston Oilers won a Super Bowl or won a championship. But like I said, if we get Travis Hunter and we get Jeremiah Smith, we get Arch Manning, Super Bowl contenders. Arch Manning can't fuck that up, bro. He just got to throw the ball.
So y'all used to be the Houston Oilers?
We were the Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Tennessee, and then
y'all had Warren Moon.
We had Warren Moon. I'm gonna wear his jersey. You know what? I'll wear his jersey next week just to show off.
Man, y'all had the run and shoot, right?
We had the run and shoot. Listen,
man, that was fun times. Earl Campbell.
Say this to anyone who's watching this. I'll say this to anyone watching this. I recommend anyone watch the end of A Football Life, the Houston Oilers, the 1995 one. That is fucking top-notch shit. It is one of my favorite football lives out of all of them. I watched all of them. That was my favorite one. It's a great one. It's definitely great.
I really like Warren Moon, man. That run and shoot was
Warren Moon is yes, and the jersey was fire. We had some of the most fire. Actually, I do have a Randall Cunningham jersey. Maybe one day.
Of course.
Maybe
Randall
one day I'll
Cunningham.
rock it. I wasn't gonna rock it today because I didn't want to, but
Next
I
week,
might rock it.
next week I'll do it in my Eagles round, so you can see the Randall Cunningham.
You might as well, because again, no one knows. Like people think I'm a Yankee fan right now. I'm not, but whatever.
Yeah. So I'll do my podcast in my Eagle Cave man cave with all my Eagle stuff, my helmets.
Yes,
my
I'll tell
Randall
Vio
Cunningham jersey,
rocket
my
stuff.
Reggie White, all that stuff. I'll do it over there.
Well, I'm gonna wear. Well, one day I'm gonna wear a Lawrence Taylor jersey just to piss Vio off because Vio has been dying to get a Lawrence Taylor jersey, and he doesn't have one yet, but I do. So I'm gonna wear it. So when he pisses me off, because he pissed me off earlier, like last night. So to stun on him, I'm gonna wear that jersey just to bother him.
What do you do, man?
Because he's sending me links about like the baseball player I was talking about. Because Vio wants. So for context, Vio wants Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's wanted him for years. He loves him, and he wants him to go to the Yankees. Which I said to him 3 years ago, there's no way he's going to the Yankees. And in fairness, let's say if you went to the time, let's say if we were now, and then you went back into a time machine 3 years ago and said, Michael, just so you know, the Blue Jays are not going to sign Vladimir Guerrero to a long-term deal. I'd have said, Smooth, you've lost every part of your mind. There is absolutely no way the Blue Jays are not signing Vladimir Guerrero to a long-term deal. And now we sit here 3 years later, and he's going to walk. And so I'm going to tell Vio he can go on Fanatics and get a Vladimir Guerrero jersey made because he's probably going to go to the Yankees or the Red. Well, he's probably going to go to the. He's already. They asked him about the Yankees. He said he's open to going anywhere. So everywhere is up.
He'll be with the Yankees, and he won't win, so it don't matter.
I hope. Well, listen. As a Blue Jay fan, I hope they don't win. I do like the Yankee hats, but I don't want them to win. Yes,
Yankee hats are dope.
Yeah, but I don't. But again, will they win? I mean, listen, they had an opportunity this year, World Series, and they kind of they got beat. Like Freddie Freeman just put foot all up in their ass. They couldn't do anything with Freddie Freeman.
The Detroit hat is fresh as well because it's the same blue and white. You know, these hats are iconic though, right? The Blue Jays is iconic. The New York
Blue Jays iconic. Thank you. I appreciate that.
For sure.
People don't be giving the Blue Jay hats love, and I really have a problem with that.
The hat is dope. The hat is dope.
From the back in the day when we won the World Series, back in the day, that one, I'll wear that one time. And to even the newer ones. Those are all fresh. Yeah, they got some fresh shit.
Dope for sure. So man, this is great. And we got to continue this on. But when football season starts, we're gonna have to start a little earlier though, right?
No, we will have to start earlier. We'll probably try to start a little bit earlier before the game starts. So we'll give like our analysis. I think what we'll do is we'll probably just give our analysis of the game or what the game's going to be, and then the next week obviously we'll talk about it or stuff like that. We'll figure something out in terms of that for sure.
And then also we'll do some fantasy football stuff, even though you never play, even though you don't play. But you're gonna have to play. You're gonna have to play, man.
I'll have to figure it out then. You guys are gonna have to teach me the ways of fantasy football because I don't know shit about fantasy football.
It's really easy, right?
I've heard it's pretty straightforward, so it's not like overly complicated, but
and it's going to have to be a podcast is our podcast. We gotta have to have a fantasy football contest, right? So whoever gets on and then won again, we let them all in, and we'll talk trash to see who beats. That'll be fun,
Sure. I think it'll be fun. I think listen, you and Vio are the expert. I think Vio won a league at one point. I think you mentioned that you won a league, so we'll see.
I won 3 of them. I won 3 of them this year. I win every year.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens this year because I'm joining with my novice self, and we're gonna figure it out. And the thing is, we'll see. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna talk to my friends who know fantasy, give them.
I like it.
And we'll see.
I'm all about competition. I'm
all about, listen, I'm not afraid of competition. Okay. I'm definitely not afraid of competition. I think I will win the fantasy football thing and we'll see what happens. Like the only team I think for me that I feel comfortable about is the Michigan Wolverines. This season, I'm very excited for that team. Every other team that I root for, but Michigan Wolverines, the season can't start fast enough.
Well, I just got to see when the Florida State Seminoles get back up to
y'all had a bad year. It happens.
A couple years.
Again, you can't win them all, Smooth.
Yeah, so I'm not worried. But what I am happy about is my Eagles. And
obviously. And your Lakers, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I want to see what happens in free agency. I'm gonna watch this combine on Thursday to see talent.
We'll definitely have to have a conversation about the combine.
Yeah, and I want to see what moves are made. What players are going to be traded to different teams and where we stand. Because I know we have a Super Bowl. We have a guy that's been to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years.
Listen, I think for free agency, I think you guys should stay pat. I don't think you guys need anything in free agency. I don't think you guys should even draft anyone. I think you guys should just say, you know what, we've won the Super Bowl. We are going to just keep the same team, and we're just going to go for it again. And we forfeit the draft. I think that should be the.
If you're not trying, if you're not trying,
because you don't need anybody. There's nothing you need. You have no weaknesses on your team.
Normally, when you win a Super Bowl, it's mad exodus, right?
Maybe.
We lost our offensive coordinator.
Well,
Vic Fangio said he'd been wanting to come to Philly, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, he's not going nowhere. And then offensive coordinator, I think y'all be fine. I think y'all will get whoever.
And what people need to give our guy props is he had a different offensive coordinator for the last 11 years and been successful. Ever since I'm college and high school, the last 11 years, and that takes a very smart quarterback to adjust to that. All they want to do is talk bad about Jalen Hurts. They said most guys that get to the Super Bowl don't get back. He's 1 out of 3 quarterbacks that got back.
That is correct. These are all factual statements that you're making at this present moment. Okay.
So why do they talk bad about him? Why do they want to talk good about Herbert? Not a winner. Trevor Lawrence, not a winner. Kirk Cousins, choke artist.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, not a winner.
He's not a winner.
Yeah. Jared Goff, not a winner. So why do you want to talk about all these other quarterbacks and put them up on a pedestal? Mm-hmm. 0 Super Bowls. And only Jared Goff has a Super Bowl appearance. Help me out. I'm confused.
You're confused?
I'm confused. Like, how are you putting all these guys ahead of him in this category, that category, when all he does is win? And I think when you're in the NFL, it's about winning, not stats, right? Okay. And most people don't know he's a coach's son. And when you're a coach's son, you have a winning mentality, you're disciplined. And you see, he don't smile and laugh a lot. He about business. Keep the main thing the main thing. He put that screenshot of him walking off the field with the confetti walking down and said he's gonna leave it like that, even though he's a champion. Keep the main thing the main thing.
Congratulations to your Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl and making most of the NBA fans, NFL fans happy. And again, you guys are in good shape. So that's why I say with all this success and all the greatness that you guys have built, you don't need to draft anyone. You don't need Myles Garrett. You don't need anybody. You guys are good. Just re-sign your team and just run it back. That's all you need to do.
No, it's about development and getting younger. Because you see how the 49ers got old overnight. So you can't.
Well, y'all got young dudes. Y'all are young. Y'all are more than y'all got young guys. Y'all are straight.
But we can't sit back though, because injuries happen. So you got to have depth. You got to have the resources. So we had a really healthy season. AJ Brown went down. Devontae Smith went down. Goddard went down. So we will probably get a tight end. You know what they were talking about? This is funny. This is what I heard as well. They was talking about trading Huff and a 4 for a third to Atlanta
to get Kyle Pitts. Where are you getting this information from? I'm curious now.
They just said it the other day.
Who said this? What
the talking heads, man? You know the talking heads.
What talking head? Listen, you can't be speaking in riddles out here. What talking heads are you? I never even heard of that trade.
So I was watching a Philly show on YouTube. Okay. And this guy that's a Philly guy and he works with the organization said that the Jets defensive coordinator is now coming over to the actual Falcons. Yeah. And that Huff was in his system before, and he might want Huff to kind of implement his defense in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And what he heard was possibility of him wanting Huff to come over there and be his leader of his defense and they were throwing around maybe a third or fourth round to get Kyle Pitts.
Well,
I'm not just bringing stuff out of the air, man. I'm just listening to the talking heads and bringing.
Well, listen, I mean, Atlanta hasn't really used Kyle Pitts well since he's gotten there. So, if that was a move if the Eagles were able to get Kyle Pitts there, I think that'd be a really good move because I think that, for him being as drafted as high as he's been drafted and for him not to be utilized the way he could be, it's kind of bizarre. So, maybe he needs a fresh start somewhere.
And that kind of offense, man, he's really a receiver.
He is. But they have him at tight end. Like, they have him playing tight end, even though, to your point, he's just a big-ass receiver. And I would just utilize him as that, not because you're not utilizing him well as a tight end. So I would just have him out wide. He's 6'5", he can run. Let him go catch jump balls and shit.
Yeah, man. I don't want anything like you said. I just want the team to Howie to sign the free agents and get the team back to. But when all these rumors coming out, I'm like, wow. But I guess that's what happens when you win.
That is sometimes when you win, players do want to go to situations where teams are winning. So that might be a possibility. I did hear even I think Darius Slay was on the Amon Ra podcast, and I think they had asked him if he'd want to go to Philly. He said that he'd be open to going back to Detroit. He said he might be open to going back.
I heard that one. So he said either Philly or Detroit.
Philly or Detroit.
So that's another situation. You see how we lose Slay, we lose Sweat, we lose Williams, so we gotta have replacements.
But you're not losing. But listen, I think you might lose Slay, maybe. But I think Sweat, is going to resign. And then
we can't sign Sweat at $18 million a year.
Yeah, you can. Of course you can. Why can't you? You absolutely can.
Too
much. That's not too much. That's more than
if Sweat want to give us a Philly discount,
he's not giving a Philly discount, man.
So he gonna walk then.
He doesn't want to give y'all. He just listen. He has earned the right to get all the money, and y'all should pay.
That's why somebody else gonna pay him.
No, y'all should pay him. Be loyal.
No, don't try to mess our salary cap up. No.
Don't y'all talk about Don't you talk about loyalty and then you want a man to take discount? No, pay him. He earned the right in the Super Bowl alone. You know how many sacks? You mentioned it. How many sacks did he have in the Super Bowl?
He had 2 sacks.
There you go. He balled out. He was disruptive on top of that.
And he got paid.
Listen, he's been with your organization since when? How long has he been with your organization for?
It's been around there about 6 or 7 years.
There you go.
Yeah, but the thing is, the price point has got to be right though, because we have other. The price point
is right. I think you guys are being cheap. I don't think you should do that. I think you guys should sign Josh Sweat to $18 million a year because he's earned it. He's earned it.
We're gonna get the pieces that.
No, because again, he's in your system. He knows your system. You ain't got to show him nothing. You ain't got to coach him up. You just you pay him, plug him in.
Finally, Howie realizes that you got to have linebackers.
That does help.
He finally realized that. So the number one, we got Nakobe Dean, who's coming off an injury, and we're gonna have Zach Bond. Zach Bond is gonna be the number one option, and then Mekhi Becton is gonna give us a discount. I know that because he only made 2.5 this year.
Yeah, he might give you a little bit, but Josh Sweat should get all the money.
What's going to happen is this, though. Watch what I tell you. Howie's going to do something amazing. I think Milton Williams is gone. Only way Josh Sweat is coming back is if he give us a discount because we can't afford to give him 18. Because we know coming up, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter are coming. So we have to preserve some of that cap space.
Well, listen.
Then we gotta extend Jurgens. Because Jurgens is
right.
Extend him early.
Mm-hmm.
Mekhi back the money because the trenches are the most important. So we got to keep the trenches right. Then we already locked up Devontae and AJ Brown, which was smart before the market got out of control, which is smart.
True. We
got Saquon for the next 4 years. Smart.
Mm-hmm.
At least 2 more years. So we said that. So Goddard is hurt a lot, so we're gonna go get a tight end. And if he's able to pull Kyle Pitts into that situation, that's great for Jalen.
Yeah, but the only thing that I disagree with is you're gonna sign Josh Sweat to a long-term deal. There you go, and that's gonna happen. So get ready for just go buy your Josh Sweat jersey now. You're number 13. He wears 13, right? 13, yeah. So you can wear that jersey.
Well, Josh Sweat, I think he wear 19.
Well, 19. Whatever jersey number he wears, 19.
Nah, I'm going to get me
that jersey because he's going to
Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell. That's the jersey I'm getting.
Well, you can also get both. You can get buy one, get one.
Jalen Hurts and Quinyon Mitchell.
I'm sure they got a Super Bowl special. You can get like buy one, get one half off. So you can get a Josh Sweat jersey contribute. Because I think Josh Sweat. I listen. I love Josh Sweat. I loved him since he came out of Florida State. He's balled out. He's grown as a player. I think you should do right by him and sign him to a long-term deal.
Not at 18, 19 million.
I think you should. I think you shouldn't sign him at 18 million.
We let Tennessee. We let Tennessee give him 18.
No, I don't. We don't listen. We listen. No. Edge.
He'll help y'all. He'll help y'all. Y'all go and give him 18 million.
No, we're not giving him no 18 million. We need other pieces. We don't need Edge right now.
So why do you want us to give him 18 million then?
Because he is drafted by y'all. He has played for you guys. He has blood, sweat, and tears. Then he tears ACL at one point and came back and played for y'all for how many years? He comes to the Super Bowl, has 2 sacks, disruptive, made Joe Thuney look like he didn't know how to block, and you don't want to pay him? Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
No. It's not about
it is absolutely ridiculous.
It's a business. It's a business.
Listen, it's ridiculous.
It's a business. So sometimes in business, it comes down to dollars, right? That's what it comes down to in sports. So if the numbers aren't right, he's going to walk. That's it.
Well, listen, but then you got to make the numbers work, my friend. Just make the numbers work.
I mean, how can we make the numbers work if he priced himself out of the market?
He's not he can
the market that we have. If we want him at 15 and he costs 19, how's that going to work?
No, why are you going to pay him 15? Why are you going to lowball the man when he's produced?
It's not. It's we have a salary cap, brother. A salary cap
doesn't matter. I'm saying you guys need to
salary cap.
You guys need to be loyal to the guys who got you to the championship.
So you're saying we don't need anything. We got Slay might walk out the door.
You don't need
Milton Williams. Milton Williams might walk out the door, and Josh Sweat might walk out the door. So if you're looking at those 3 key pieces, we got to have replacements.
I said Sweat is not walking out the door. Slay
That's
might.
what you say.
I said Slay might,
all 3 of them.
and Williams will probably leave, but Josh Sweat is staying. You need to
Slay might stay. Slay might stay.
Slay might stay. Williams, I'll agree with you. Williams will probably leave, but I think
Sweat.
No, I think Sweat will stay. I think you guys will do right by Sweat.
So they are like I heard, like they said that they think Williams and Sweat price themselves at the market. They're going to demand 18, 19, 20 million. We're not going to do that.
You should do that. I think you should. I think where we disagree is I think you should do right by them. You're just a cold-hearted Eagle fan who doesn't care about players.
It's not.
You don't care.
It's business.
It's not. No, you just don't. You deep down are just you're cutthroat, and you just don't care about them. You don't care about their feelings.
It's a business. Like if you had a business, right? If you had a business, and they telling you this person's going to cost you $9 million, and you want to keep them because they're loyal, or you can get 2 other people that's going to cost you 3 and 3 to give you.
No, I'm going to keep the guy who's producing, who's balling out producing.
You want to save yourself that $3 million and hire those 2 guys for 6. That's a smart business.
But they suck. But what if they suck? And then I'm stuck with these.
No. You already vetted them, and they can produce just like that person.
Okay, so you're gonna vet out the next edge. You got to make sure you vet them out completely. You got to make sure.
You don't have to vet them out. I mean, if Myles Garrett says, "Hey, I want to come," what vet do I got to do?
If Myles Garrett comes, Josh Sweat is gone. I don't disagree with that, but I don't. But I think
we don't have to vet that though, right? We don't got to vet that because he's the best defensive player in football.
But listen, but right now, as we speak, the Lions are on the phone with the Cleveland Browns trying to make this trade happen.
I don't think he want to go to Detroit.
I think he wants to. I think he'd be open to going to Detroit. It's not that far from Cleveland. He ain't got to take. That's not that far of a drive.
Maybe he don't want to be in the cold like that anymore.
Well, you act like Philly's this tropical paradise. It ain't.
At least Detroit got a dome. At least Detroit got a dome.
Thank you. There's benefit. Like I'm saying, I
think he want to play on real grass though. He don't want to play on that turf. That's how you mess your knees up. Facts.
I mean, Aiden did break up his leg on Dallas.
And a lot of those Detroit guys got beat up on that turf. So
I'm hoping the turf is better now. Hopefully the turf is better. Hopefully
he definitely ain't going to Detroit. That turf he saw. That's
turf is fine.
That's why he said Washington and Philly, natural grass, no turf.
He's probably. I mean, he's used to playing, but I think it depends. I think it.
He used to playing on grass out in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in Texas A&M, he played on grass as well, so that's fair.
Yeah.
High school, he played on grass. I do remember seeing his high school film played on grass.
So going to some place that has turf, I don't think that'd be ideal for his.
But it's fast. But hey, it's fast.
He's 29 years old, right? He's not 23.
Yeah, he's 20. I think he's just under 30.
29. Right? Yeah, so I think it's either going to be the Commanders, the Eagles, or San Francisco. That's what I truly believe.
I'm gonna go with Phil. I'm gonna go with the Lions or Commanders. I think one of those.
You just don't want to say the Eagles. I get it. You just don't want to say the Eagles.
You don't need them, first off, and that's number one. But number two, yeah, you don't need them. And I just don't. I would be stunned if the NFL allowed that to happen. I think Roger Goodell would veto
NFL.
I think Roger Goodell would veto the trade. I don't think he would allow that to happen. I think he'd be like, something fishy going on. We're gonna avoid this trade. Because I mean, could you guys probably do it? I could see it because again, you guys probably would have the draft capital. You probably have to give up a few picks and stuff. And I'm sure Howie Roseman probably like, yo, we're in a window now. We got young talent. We can, make it
go
work.
back to back.
Yeah, I mean, but you're probably third out of all the teams. I think he would go to. You're third.
I just don't see Detroit.
I see Detroit. I mean, I saw the Bill. I don't think the Bills. I mean, I saw someone saying the Bills would be somewhere Myles Garrett would go. I don't know if the Bills would give up the capital to get Myles Garrett.
And the Bills don't win, though, right?
Not really.
So
I mean, they win, but just not like when it matters.
He said he wants to go to a team when he has an opportunity to win.
And the Lions and I'll say the Eagles and the Commanders have that opportunity.
You think Detroit is going to be the same as they was last year?
So you're going to tell me that the Lions don't have an opportunity to win? Is that what you're telling me?
No. I'm just asking you a question. You think they're going to be the same as last year when they lost the offensive coordinator? Ben Johnson was a heavily part of this situation. He's been there multiple years.
I do. I mean, I do agree a lot of the play calling and the way he was able to call plays. And listen, play calling is not something that everybody is capable of doing. I don't disagree with you there. I think there's a sweet science to it. There's an understanding of your personnel. I think Ben Johnson did a great job of doing that. Now, do I think they're going to be the same? I hope so. I think I mean, if they're not, then no, they're not. They're not going to obviously be. They're probably not going to have the same record, but they're too talented. I think this offensive coordinator you're driving a car. It's like you're driving a Ferrari. Just don't crash it. You have a great team. Understand your personnel. Understand how to play call and bounce up. Because the one thing with Ben Johnson that I liked is that he could read the team and the way that the game was going. So if he needed to run the ball, he'd run the ball. If he needed to throw it, he'd throw it. That's what I want to see from this offensive coordinator, if he's able to make those adjustments in game.
So just like the Eagles had like a mishap when they changed offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, the same situation in Detroit. It's not going to be like it's not going to be like sticking the key in the car and ignition and turning it on. It's not going to be like that. So they can have some struggles,
right?
And then also their record dictates their schedule. So their schedule will be a little tougher.
It's gonna be tougher. Question: Did your defense change like schematically after you guys went to the Super Bowl, or was it the same scheme, just different play callers?
After it changed, it was just like when we went to the Super Bowl, we were the number one team in sacks.
Right.
The next year, we wasn't nowhere near that, and the tackling was horrible.
Right. Okay.
But it's the same people, though. It was the same people. So the scheme, Vic Fangio, all of a sudden, there's 5 guys around the ball every time somebody catch it. But it wasn't like that. Receivers was running open. They was getting beat, and the desire wasn't there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing with Vic Fangio. He's going to make them – he's going to sit there on the bench if they ain't playing hard. So I'll give you that. Definitely.
So it's like a wait and see in Detroit. You know, you can have wins, you have success, and you can fall off the mat the next year easily.
Yeah, because I mean, and listen, their pass rush was really, I'll give you some kudos here. Their pass rush was really predicated on Aiden Hutchinson. Once Aiden Hutchinson was out, they couldn't get the quarter. It was non-existent. Like they had to really rely on their back end, and their back end was okay in some games. Like for example, I watched the game when they played Buffalo, and Josh Allen ripped them apart. They couldn't stop Josh Allen from throwing the football, and that's the concern. And that's why I think they probably, out of all the 3 teams, they probably need to go get Myles Garrett. Like the Eagles don't necessarily need him. It would be nice to get him. The Lions,
Yeah, I
they
agree with that.
need Myles Garrett, I feel.
I think Washington needs him more though.
I mean, they do have Dante Fowler. They got Payne. They got
Dante
John.
Fowler is like 30. He's
Yeah,
33.
he's older. I mean, they
Yeah,
got. I'm not saying it couldn't hurt to get. I mean, but it's funny with the Commanders because they had Chase Young and then they had Montez Sweat and they trade both of them, which is kind of bizarre to me.
ownership.
Both those edge guys.
But it was ownership though. Daniel Snyder
Yeah,
said it was
ownership. Yeah, they just it was So I mean, yeah, because I think that, and to your point, I think if I'm the Commanders, I'm probably going to target an edge rusher in the draft. If I don't get Myles Garrett or somebody, I think that's going to be who I'm going to look at. Obviously, I mean, unless they trade up to get Abdul Carter, because that's probably the guy. They're not. I mean, yeah, they're going to
They
probably.
got to trade up. They would have to give up Black to do that though. If they do that, they're not going to be able to get Myles Garrett.
I mean, it would depend. I mean, I feel like somebody's going to trade up in the 2 spots. I don't think Cleveland's going to stay at 2. I would hope not.
And they saying with Myles Garrett, the cap hit that they will have, they're going to have to do it after June 1st. So that's going to mess up the draft capital and everything like that. So they really screwed though. Because if Myles Garrett tells you he doesn't want to play for you guys, I wouldn't try to hold on to a player. It's not going to be motivation.
No, if I'm the Browns, I'm trying to trade him now. There's no point in keeping Myles Garrett.
But they said if they trade him now, the cap hit, they're gonna absorb a large cap hit.
Yeah, they're probably trying to wait it out until after the cap. Yeah. So I mean, that makes sense. I mean, and again, their quarterback situation's a disaster. Like, I don't know what the Browns are gonna do. Like, I don't know. They don't have
Kirk Cousins.
Jesus Christ. So you're gonna have 2 expensive trash quarterbacks with bad Achilles now?
Oh, Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, maybe, I guess. I mean, they're gonna I don't know what Cleveland does, to be honest with you. They're stuck. Like, they're stuck. Because they can't, Deshaun Watson's contract is just a disaster. They can't get rid of it. He's gonna be there till his contract ends, and he's not good. So I guess they're gonna have to sign a vet. I think, to your point, you go sign a vet, run it back with, trade Myles Garrett, try to get as much capital as you can, and then just try to, I don't know.
Why is Stefanski winning Coach of the Year over there? Why did he win a Coach of the Year over there?
Listen, Joe Flacco was off. I think he was on his couch, and he came out and he balled out. He played well. Now, does that warrant like Stefanski winning Coach of the Year? I don't know about that, but Joe Flacco. The thing with Deshaun, what made it fucked up for him was that Joe Flacco came in off the bench or off his couch, came in and played way better in the system that you're in, that they're paying you to be in, and he played. It was like night and day better.
Man, I agree 100%, but I still don't think he's supposed to be Coach of the Year with all these coaches.
No, I just think Stefanski's. I think Stefanski's a good coach. I don't have given him Coach of the Year the year he won it last year. I would have probably given it to someone else because they still were like. The offense looked really good. Defensively, they were okay, but they still were just nah. They weren't like all that. Like, they weren't like a perennial. They weren't a Super Bowl contender. They just were decent. They were just a marginal playoff team that just kind of got in off luck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you do? What would you do if you're Cleveland? What would you do right now? Besides obviously trade Myles Garrett, but what do you do? I guess you got to keep Deshaun for now. Do you play him next year if he's healthy? Do you sit him? What do you do with him?
No, you have to draft a young quarterback. You have to. You can't. You gotta swallow your losses. Understand you made a bad decision. Deshaun Watson is a shell of himself.
Yes.
If you're able to grab a quarterback, so grab Travis Hunter, unless you guys do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then get Russell Wilson out there.
Okay.
And go from there. And then hopefully you could draft a young quarterback later, but at least get some normalcy to your team because your team has been in disarray for the last 2 years. So get your team back to some relevance in that crazy division that you're in because Cincinnati's coming, Baltimore's coming, and the Steelers coming. You can't be no doormat in that division. You got to come and play because it's a tough division to play in. They play tough football. They play smash mouth football. And if you're not ready, you're going to get ran over.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you got to have some semblance of, because there's just been so much chaos with that team over the past few years. I do agree. I think you do have to get some type of calmness or some normalcy. I think you get like a Russell Wilson or someone who can at least stabilize the position. You're probably not winning a Super Bowl or anything like that. You might, I don't know, if the stars align, you might luck in and get a wild card playoff spot if everything aligns. I do agree. I think you do need to probably look at getting a quarterback. If you don't get one this year, you have to get one next year. And then you just, I mean, I don't know. You figure out a way to either eat Deshaun's contract next year because his cap hit is so high. They just don't want to eat that contract because it's like over 100 million they'd have to eat in dead money, and they just don't want to do that yet. I think
once they got to restructure the contract.
I think
you got to think about already. What you think about when we had Carson Wentz and they said nobody could get out of that contract and we got out of it. It's always a way. You just got to be creative.
But I think Carson wanted out too, right? Like I think Carson had kind of worn out his welcome. I think he wanted out. They were gone, but they mutually just would. Like I think with Deshaun, I think he probably knows that no team is going to probably touch him.
I mean, he got his money. Just walk away in the sunset.
Listen, he got guaranteed 230 mil. I would have been walked away at this point. I'm like, dog, I'm chilling.
What I don't understand is why they were so up in arms about Deshaun Watson. Kirk Cousins got the first guaranteed contract from Minnesota. Nobody talks about it though. And I always say, if I want to have a conversation,
I think it was the most. I think Deshaun was the most guaranteed.
But they said the first when Deshaun got it though. You listen to how they talk, right?
Oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think with Deshaun it was the first most guaranteed contract in NFL history. Was the most guaranteed ever given to a quarterback. 5 years, $230 million.
Yeah. Nobody said nothing about that Kirk Cousins contract.
No,
and quiet as kept. The quarterback that was there before him, I forgot his name, but he took him to the NFC Championship. Kirk Cousins
Keenum.
Yeah, Case Keenum.
Yeah, Keenum. Yeah,
to the NFC Championship. NFC Championship. We beat them, but they took him to the NFC Championship.
But you know how it goes, man. Like these people, the media, everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta get the late," And Kirk Cousins had been, what's it called? I can't remember now. It's my brain's the franchise tag. He had been tagged so many times.
That was the Redskins.
The Redskins, yeah. So they had tagged him like twice. So he already knew he was getting the bag because they couldn't tag him again because they'd have to give him like damn near $100 million or some shit for 1 year. So
I want to talk to his agent.
I want to know who his agent is.
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins has been stealing money forever.
Listen, Kirk Cousins and Paul George, their agents are the best agents in sports.
Yeah.
Because
I want to sit down and have a strategy conversation with them.
Not shout out to Paul George, but shout out to his agent. Because the fact that he got Paul George a max contract for him to do absolutely nothing for the Philadelphia 76ers is amazing. Listen, Philly can't win everything. You won the Super Bowl, NBA championship. That's probably not going to happen this year. Stanley Cup. That's probably not going to happen. Maybe the World Series. Maybe Philly might get in the World Series possibly, but can't win everything. It's okay.
Yeah. But I mean, also Kawhi Leonard, agent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kawhi should listen. I'm on record. Kawhi should have just stayed in Toronto. I don't know why he left. I get it. It's California. Right now, we had a big ass snowstorm. I get it. You don't want to be around snow, but his best.
I just recently had a snowstorm. Wow.
Yeah, we had recently. It's bad. It was bad. But I mean, Kawhi at his peak, 2019, baby. I
won that chip.
He won the chip.
Did you go to the parade?
I didn't go to the parade because it was crazy, because it was just nuts. But I did go to the first playoffs game when they played Orlando and Kawhi with the first playoff game that we lost, unfortunately. But I did go to that game at least. So I feel like I was a part of that championship run. So I feel good about that. Because my thought was, okay, listen, if this is the year we win the championship, I want to at least say that I went to a playoff game. So I didn't go the year before. So I was like, I'm going to go at least to this one. Kawhi's here. Wanted to see Kawhi live and see how he played, and he was magnificent. So I was very happy. So
that's dope, though, man.
I was gonna get a Kawhi jersey, but then he left. So I was like, well, fuck this guy. I'm not buying his jersey. But he should have stayed.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So we gonna do this again next week, right?
Hopefully, next week we're gonna have brand new topics to discuss, or we're just gonna keep on the same topics. Hopefully, our third host VO Walker will join us. I'll let him know that we did it, and then we'll upload it. Well, I guess you could send me the footage, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'm going to stop it right now. But
all right.
I'm just mad we didn't record everything, but it's okay.
I know we had a good. It was good.
Right. It was dope, right?
It was dope. It's okay.
I know what I'm doing now. You know, I never really did it on Zoom. I did it on another what's the name, but this is cool.
Yeah,
and then you know now as well. So you just got to hit the record twice, and then you'll hear the lady say,
okay, now
recording.
I know. All right,
and you'll hear that lady say recording, so we know we're good.
All right, we know we're good. So yeah, no. Next week we'll do it at 1 o'clock. I'll let Vio's ass know we did it. So I'll tell his ass we're gonna do it at 1 to 4.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is just fucking sign in. If you could sign in at 1, that'd be great. So we can all start at the same damn time, be somewhat organized here. But yeah, I'll let them know. I'll try to. I think what we'll probably do is I'll probably try to create a YouTube channel at some point.
Okay.
And then I'll also try to do an Instagram page as well. And what I'll try to do is like I'll add our short clips as well. Okay. And kind of like, get people to see kind of the crazy shit we'll say like in short, and then they'll be like, oh shit, let me watch this shit. So that's kind of what I'm thinking we'll probably do. So
that's a bet. And I think that those shorts will probably get everybody interested.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna post it on my page, on my Instagram as well. I'll send it, and then we'll go from there. I'll send it. So now, and if nothing else, Veal follows my ass on IG, so then he'll see. He's like, "Oh shit, now I got to get on." Yeah, you fucking better. Yeah. So now that I'm gonna once you send it to me and I do the shorts, now I'm hoping now this will motivate his ass.
Yeah, he'll get all excited and be pumped up.
He's like, "Oh shit, y'all did it, yo, yeah." I said we were gonna do it.
Absolutely, man. But I'm glad we got this on, though. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm glad we got at least one down. So we got one of many. So we got a lot. We'll also have to figure out a name and title and all that shit. We'll have to figure out.
I'll think of something, man.
Yeah, we'll think of something. And actually, the logo we could do a logo, but that's easy. We can get like AI shit for that. Like I have an app that I download. We can just figure out like what we'll talk about, and we can just create something from there. So that's fine.